Abibi Fahoudieh family is Deshawn, the founder of the Original People's Party, or OPP for short. The purpose of this new video series is to provide historical and contemporary analysis that drives the OPP agendas. So I hope you guys enjoy it. The first topic of this video series will be about Black Power and redefining it for modern purpose. The first topic of this video series will be about Black Power and redefining it for a modern purpose for liberation and self-determination for us as African peoples. What is Black Power? The first question is, what is Black Power? Black Power is a political slogan created by the Students for Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, or SNCC, founded by Ella Baker as a response to the persistent oppression by the white power structure in the American South. The advent of the slogan was delivered in a speech by SNCC organizer Kwame Ture, then known as Stokely Carmichael, in the aftermath of the shooting of James Meredith, the first black integrated student of Mississippi. A growing frustration among students with Dr. King's nonviolent philosophy, whose SCLC organization sponsored SNCC, called a radicalization among SNCC members in the face of white aggression while organizing voter drives. Under these conditions is in which led to the creation of the Black Power slogan. In this following clip, Kwame Ture, years later, explained the origins of Black Power.
All right, to use the term Black Power, SNCC had already decided this before the march. That must be properly understood. We decided to use the march for an education purpose. Number one, we wanted to push strongly our struggle against the war in Vietnam. So if people look clearly at the Meredith March, you will see anti-Vietnam propping up here. King wasn't using it then, but you will see this is one of the areas where we started to hit him with it seriously. Our march was to put strong nationalism in, to have direct leadership from us, and of course, to throw out Black Power for the mass of the people.
It can be argued earlier historical examples of Black Power were exhibited through the Haitian Revolution, where enslaved Africans rebelled against their French colonial masters in pursuit of independence, or Marcus Garvey's UNIA organization and development programs, among many other examples. As for Ture, he describes his view of Black Power in his co-authored book with Charles Hamilton called Black Power, The Politics of Liberation, stating, "The concept of Black Power rests on a fundamental premise. Before a group can enter an open society, it must first close ranks. By this we mean that group solidarity is necessary before a group can operate effectively from a bargaining position of strength in a pluralistic society. The point is obvious. Black people must lead and run their own organizations. Only Black people can convey the revolutionary idea that Black people are able to do things themselves." I will begin my critique of Black Power starting with the overall lack of direction and two key points: the pursuit of reform or the pursuit of revolution. These questions, from my view, were not clearly defined by Ture or the 60s era advocates for Black Power, and I will elaborate on it in the following points and provide our solution afterwards. One goal for Black Power, argued by Ture, was to pursue political reforms through the vote. Quoting Ture's speech from Robert Allen's Black Awakening, he stated, "Where Negroes lack a majority, Black Power means proper representation and sharing of control. It means the creation of power bases from which Black people can work to change statewide or nationwide patterns of oppression. Politically, Black Power means what it always meant to SNCC, the coming together of Black people to elect representatives to force those reps to speak to their needs." In another vein, Ture, among others, argued for a militant resistance in the form of revolution in response to white aggression, stating, "The line between defensive and offensive is very thin. We are moving into open guerrilla warfare in the United States. We have no alternative but to use aggressive violence in order to own the land, houses, stores, and politics inside our communities." Another Black Power advocate, H. Rap Brown, now known as Jamil Abdullah Al-Amin, was also quoted in response to those conditions, stating, "We are at war, we are caught behind enemy lines, and you better get yourself some guns." Public videos discussing the ramification of the latter strategies will not be appropriate at this time for obvious reasons. To add further to the confusion, the late 60s saw the co-optation of Black power by white neoliberal nonprofit groups such as the Ford Foundation, as described in Allen's work. These nonprofits financed grassroots Black groups who were espousing Black power were diverted intentionally. This, alongside external ideological distractions such as intersectional leftists, Marxists, communists, and individualistic fantasies of Black capitalism, caused further confusion on the direction of Black power. With my critique being laid out, I will articulate my own vision of what Black power looks like and how OPP will help seek to implement it. Before I do, I want to use a powerful quote by our honorable ancestor, Dr. Amos Wilson, as a precursor to my argument.
We've been misled by our leadership, for instance. They think that we can consume our way into equality and sees equality as an equality of materials. So if I have the same car as a white person, if I have the same house as a white person, a similar job, then I'm equal. But you cannot consume yourself into equality. You must produce yourself into equality, and you move into equality and beyond by productive thinking. Because as long as you're consuming knowledge or you're consuming materials, the guy who is giving it to you or selling it to you is producing at the same time, which means that you never catch up with him because he's always 2 or 3 steps ahead of you.
From my point of view, power is rooted in economic power. The access to or control over skilled human labor and raw materials create the machines and technologies that builds the industrial power of organized groups to produce the goods that we consume for material or life-saving benefit, for trade to profit, and or militaristic purposes to access those aforementioned raw materials and land. Through these avenues is in which tax revenue, at its simplest form, provides the outputs of industry to finance political systems, which exhibits its power through financing politicians' careers, crafting laws to serve the power structure's interest, control over courts, judges, and private control of essential infrastructure such as utilities, water, and healthcare. These mechanisms are further enforced by the security state, such as the military and the police. The combination of the political and security state results in further reinforcement of the white Western capitalist power structure led by the United States, which enables them to dominate and exploit other groups such as African peoples and the global South. To organize our own Black power, from my view, OPP intends to implement a more balanced and equitable alternative to the exploitative capitalist system through a collective cooperative economic model, training labor and developing our own manufacturing through our infra project, and finally, the creation and financing of our own currency. For more information on our agenda, please click the link in the description box below. If you agree with our ideas for Black power and want to consider joining or supporting OPP, click the join link below if you're interested. Feel free to share the video and subscribe to our channel for future video essays that we produce and discussions regarding Black African liberation. Abibi Fahudiye, and blessings to the ancestors. Thank you.